What is happening, YouTube? What's going on, guys? Today is going to be an incredibly valuable video. At least I think it is, and I hope it will be. And I think this is something that everybody should try to start kind of nailing down going into Q4, going into Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Green Monday, and really just the overall Christmas and holiday season. Today, we're going to be talking about the customer journey. What is the customer journey? The customer journey is essentially the customer's journey through your business. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking specifically about e-commerce and Shopify stores, but every business has a Shopify journey. So in today's video, I'm going to be explaining a little bit about what a customer journey is. I'm going to be talking about some ways that you can better understand your customer's journey and what your customers are looking for, using things like Google Analytics, like Neat A/B or other A/B testing softwares, as well as something like HotJar, where you can see where people are clicking on your page, what's grabbing people's attention, where you're losing people, and really what, in order to kind of understand and refine your customer's journey, you're going to want to know things like, where are they finding you from? Like, are they coming over from forums? Are they coming over from Facebook ads, from Google ads? You're going to want to understand where the customer is coming from. Where are they landing on your website? So are they landing on the homepage? Are they landing on a particular blog post, a piece of pillar content? Are they landing on a specific product page? As well as, like, where are they looking on your page? Where are they scrolling? Are people making it below the fold? Or are they not making it below the fold? Are people using your navigation, or are people using the search bar? Understanding all these things can easily help you, say, 10x your Shopify sales. I would even go as far as to say 50x or even 100x. I mean, if you're already doing, you know, $200,000 in sales a month, I don't know that it's going to 100x your store, but if you got a store doing $1,000 in sales per month, truly understanding and refining your customer journey could easily, very easily, get you to $100,000 a month in sales Shopify store. So like I said, we're mainly going to be talking about Shopify, but just to really kind of explain this whole idea of a customer journey, I used to have a landscaping business. Right now, what's the customer journey for a landscaping business? Well, most people are going to get like a door hanger or a flyer, or they're going to see your ad on Google My Business, and they're going to call up and they're going to say, I need lawn service, right? But one thing I think pretty much every industry is facing is most people don't want to talk to anybody anymore. I don't know if that's a positive thing or a negative thing in terms of our culture, but most people don't want to talk to people. Like, they just want to get the service that they want, or they want to get a question answered. So as somebody who was running a landscaping company, I may say, you know what? Most people don't want to pick up the phone and call somebody and talk to somebody. And a lot of times, like, I'm out in the field mowing lawns, I'm not really always there to pick up the phone. And it's kind of a bad impression when somebody gets a voicemail that's their first experience with you. So what somebody might do is put a tab on their website that says request a quote. You might have a little contact form, put in your address, what's the service you're looking for, and how would you like to be contacted with your quote. Would you like a text, an email, or a phone call? So you know exactly what the customer wants. You got their address, so you can go take a look at their lawn, and then you know how they want to be contacted with the quote. And then as kind of refining the customer journey, you could say, okay, before, when we were just taking phone calls, 1 out of 10 people who contacted us followed up and hired us for lawn care. And after we instituted this contact us form and people didn't have to speak to us, now we're landing 3 or we're landing 4 out of every 10 people. We improved the customer journey. I'll give you another example. This is kind of a funny story of a customer journey. So a couple weekends back, some friends and my girlfriend took me out for my birthday. They said, where do you want to go eat? And there's this spot in Pilsen, just off of 18th and Ashland. It's called Canton Regio. Any of you guys from Chicago may be familiar with the old spot that the people used to own. It was called the Nuevo Leon. In my opinion, it was by far the best Mexican restaurant in Chicago. Anyhow, it burned down. A lot of people say they burned it down for insurance money. Whatever the case, they opened up a place across the street. It's kind of like a fancier, more upscale. This old place, it was one of my favorite places. They had amazing food. It was super cheap. It was cash only, BYOB. And the place they opened up across the street, now it's like kind of like a upscale Mexican steakhouse. They brought over a couple of the menu items, but anyhow, it's my favorite place. So we decided we're going to go there for dinner. Now, it was my birthday, so of course, you know, my friends pulled up. They had a bunch of joints rolled, and we made our way over to Canton Regio, and they sent me in to go get the table. And so I go in and I had a bachata band playing, so there's like music blaring. The place isn't very big, and they really pack people in there. So I walk into the front area, and it's like shoulder to shoulder. There's people waiting. The band's right here. Waitresses are trying to get through. And normally there's a hostess person up there, and there wasn't a hostess person. So I stand there for like 10 minutes, like waiting for somebody to come help me, and nobody comes and helps me. And I see the girl who was like quasi acting as a hostess is like way at the back of the restaurant by the bar and the register. So I'm like, I guess I just go back there. So I go all the way back there. She's busy with people. Finally I get her attention. I'm like, 5, John. And she's like, she's looking at her list, and she's like, I don't have your name down. And I'm like, no, I want to put my name down, John, party of 5. And she's like, okay. And so she takes my name, and then she just disappears. And I'm like, I didn't get a wait time. I didn't find out how they're going to let us know our table's ready. So I go out to the car, and you got to keep in mind, we're smoking joints on the way over here. So I'm like, not really on my, on point. So I go out to the car, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on. And they're like, well, how long till the table? I'm like, I don't know. They said, are they going to text us? How do we know when our table's ready? And I was like, I don't know. And so that would be an example of a bad customer journey. If John Taffer of Bar Rescue or Restaurant Rescue or whatever was there, he would have been screaming at him for not having a hostess. This place is incredibly popular. I don't speak Spanish, and most of the staff is Spanish speaking, so that obviously didn't help with putting my name in. But we just kind of laughed, and we're like, we'll just go down the road. So we wound up going down the road to another spot called 5 Rabanitos, also in Pilsen. I think that stands for 5 radishes. Another awesome restaurant if you guys are in Chicago and looking for good Mexican food. We just wound up going to another place. So they lost me as a customer because of the customer journey. At least it didn't work for me. So enough rambling about landscaping businesses and Mexican food in Chicago. How does this affect my Shopify store, right? So I manage 3 different Shopify stores. I think one's maybe 250,000 a month, another one's like 230, and another one is, I don't know, maybe 1 to 150. Now, these stores kind of have different branding, but they all sell the exact same catalog of products. It's like over 20,000 SKUs. So this is a diverse store. The customer journey isn't going to be as scattered or as chaotic if you sell weed t-shirts or kind of one very specific product. But we sell some products that cater to old people, some that cater to men, some that cater to women, some that cater to certain niches and things like that. And so these three Shopify stores, which are essentially the exact same store, they have very different customer bases in terms of who their target customer is. And the people use the website very differently. On one particular store, almost everybody uses the search bar to search what they're looking for. On another store, almost nobody uses the search bar. Everybody uses the navigation. And so when we talk about customer journey, we're kind of trying to understand, how are people finding our website? How are they navigating through our website? And in understanding that, we want to understand, like, what are they looking at? What are they looking for? What don't we have that they're looking for? Where are we losing them? If we notice that nobody scrolls down below the fold, well then, any call to actions we have, any kind of funnels we have, anything important that we have, anything that we want to highlight for the customer has to be above the fold. If we notice that everybody's using the search bar, maybe we'll implement something like a predictive search or a suggested search, where as soon as they start typing in 1 or 2 letters, it's automatically kind of starting to guess what they want. And by kind of understanding these things and kind of helping the customer through their customer journey, we're going to convert a lot better. We're going to wind up with a lot more sales. So what does this mean for your Shopify store? Well, like I said, even within the same industry, selling all the same products, the customer journey can be very different. So there are some best practices that we can follow. But beyond that, it's going to be a lot of trial and error and figuring out what works with your customers, what doesn't work for your customers, and kind of understanding your customer's journey through your website. So what are some tools and things like that we can use for this? Well, I think one of them, and one of the most obvious, is going to be Google Analytics. And you can also use the Shopify built-in reports. In Shopify, there's a tab on the left. It says Analytics. If you pull that up, there's all types of reports, but you can see what pages people are landing on. If you want to look specifically at blog posts, you can filter and only look at blog posts, and you can see your most popular blog posts. You can see what products get bought the most. So there's a lot of data you can get from the internal Shopify reports. With Google Analytics, there's a ton of stuff you can do, man. Google Analytics, you can see the bounce rate, you can see how much time people are spending on your website, you can see where people are coming from. So where are people coming from, and then you can put more advertising or marketing efforts or money towards those avenues. When people land on your site, you can see where are they landing. And if you see a lot of people are landing on like a specific product page or something, well, maybe you want to put a little bit more focus on that product page. Maybe you want to turn that product page into a landing page and almost turn that into a sales funnel. A lot of different, and Google Analytics is going to give you a lot of ideas in terms of how people flow through your website. I believe they have something called like tree maps, where you can actually see customers' journeys or customers' paths through your website. So, okay, somebody lands on the home page, then typically they're going to go to this page, then they're going to go to this page, and they're going to go to this page. So Google Analytics, very valuable tool. If you don't have it set up to your Shopify store, set it up right now. I definitely recommend spending some time educating yourself on Google Analytics. I believe Google has a free course you can go through. If you actually want to get the certification, I think they charge you money. But Google Analytics has a lot of great free resources. I would highly suggest spending some time, and it will take quite some time. I would highly suggest spending some time actually learning Google Analytics. Google Analytics is so in-depth. There's so many different little reports and paths that you can go down. If you don't really know how to use it, you're just going to feel lost. So I would recommend spending some time actually diving in and learning Google Analytics. It's an incredibly valuable store, an incredibly valuable resource. If you're in e-commerce, if you're an affiliate marketer, you run any type of website. So this is, this knowledge is worth learning because it's going to help you across everything that you do online. Some other tools and apps, A/B testing is incredibly valuable. There's a tool called Neat A/B, and you can create different versions of your Shopify theme and kind of test more in-depth things. Or you can test things like, I wonder if this product would sell better with a different title, and you can do an A/B test between two different titles. And it's really amazing how much better something can convert simply by changing the title, changing the product photo, changing the description. It never ceases to kind of blow my mind how much one little tweak can change conversion rates, either dramatically better or dramatically worse. Neat A/B has a free 14-day trial. It's one of the platforms or apps that I use a lot. Highly recommend checking that one out. Let's see what else we were talking about. I think another tool I mentioned was HotJar. So HotJar is basically going to allow you to do heat maps. So you're going to see where on your website is somebody clicking. You're going to be able to see on mobile as well as on desktop or laptop or whatever. So you're going to be able to see like, wow, almost everybody is clicking the search bar. One of my items, it was something that was back ordered, and we noticed sales dropped off dramatically, and we had a message that basically said this item was back ordered. And when we looked at a heat map, we noticed that almost everybody was clicking on, this little piece of text saying that the item was back ordered. And so what that immediately told us was like, look, people want to order this product, but they're clicking that because they want to know, what does back ordered mean? Does back ordered mean it's going to be delayed 2 days, or does back ordered mean it's going to be delayed 2 weeks, or does back ordered mean that I'm just sitting here waiting until you get it in stock and you don't know when that's going to be? So, just little things like understanding that. One of the other cool things about HotJar, you're going to see basically how far down your page people scroll. So like on our site, we find that 50% of people don't go below the fold. Of the people who go below the fold, only about 20% of them make it past, say a quarter of the way down. Looking at actual product description pages, something that was really interesting. Depending on how you lay out your product page, we found that nobody really scrolled past, like when we do product pages, we kind of do a very brief kind of description of the item, and then we get more into kind of specs and things like that. And we discovered that most people aren't going below this very brief description, so we realized we really got to we can't have some like long rambling description. We really have to kind of feature the highlights or benefits of this product very high up early on in the product description. So I'm just barely scratching the surface in terms of understanding the customer journey. But 3 tools that will help you do this much better are, like I said, going to be Google Analytics, completely free. Set that up. HotJar, basically heat maps, incredibly valuable. That is going to cost you money. I forget how much their plans are, but you do get a free week trial. So if you at least want to use it for a couple weeks to kind of figure out how people are interacting with your site, that's incredibly helpful. And then you have Neat AB, which Neat AB, again, I forget how much their paid packages are, but they have a trial as well. And it may actually be free for a limited number of tests. I forget exactly how that works out. And like I said, I can't really go in and say, well, do this or do that. And that's why when I made the title of this video, I didn't say 3 easy steps or understand this simple concept, because it's not a simple concept. There is no 3 easy steps. This is going to be very unique to your business. There could be another business that's in the same niche as you, sells the exact same products as you, and their customers' journeys are going to be very different than what yours are. But if you can kind of start diving into what the existing customer journey is on your website, as well as kind of the shortfalls or what you're kind of missing out on, or where you're failing to direct people, it can really explode your Shopify sales. A lot of big, I've been going to a lot of e-commerce and digital marketing conferences and things like this lately, and I mean, people are pouring tens of thousands of dollars a month into understanding the customer journey. This is incredibly valuable, and it can really explode your business. There's a lot of reasons your Shopify store may not be as successful as you'd like it to be. There's a lot of reasons why people aren't purchasing. And assuming that you have a product that people actually want, you're at a reasonable price point, or you're at a competitive price point, and your site doesn't look like absolute garbage, okay, we can move on to the next step. Your item should be selling. Now it's the customer journey that's getting in the way, and the customer journey even extends to your shopping cart. Like, a lot of people right now are doing those minimal sidebar shopping carts, so they're not redirected to a whole nother page. The shopping cart just pops out on the side, so they can go back and forth between shopping and doing stuff to their cart. Some people find that they're asking for too much information during the checkout process. If you're selling a digital product and you don't need somebody's physical address, not even for billing, don't ask for it, because the more information you ask for, the more people are going to drop off. But yeah, the customer journey really has to do with every aspect of your website. I'd be curious if you guys have any tips or advice or things that you found work, or best practices having to do with customer journeys. I'd love to hear from you guys. I realize I didn't give you every little action step that you need, but hopefully at the very least, this is something that you'll start looking into. Hopefully the tools that I mentioned will help you do that. And any other questions, comments that you guys have, go ahead and drop them down below. Thank you guys for watching. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.